I'm Nurse Jessica Seitz, along with Nurse Erica. We're Nurses Uncorked, the podcast that takes nursing facts with nursing comedy and makes a little cocktail out of it. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to Nurses Uncorked. It's just me and Nurse Erica today. Nurse Jessica Seitz and Nurse Erica, the dynamic duo. I don't know. That's what I'm calling us today. Yeah. It's just the two of us this week because we're talking about something that just the two of us went and did together a few weeks back. We went on an amazing strike, my second strike. So we're going to get into all details about that. And we've got a lot of other important information coming up for you guys. We're going to talk about with some things about unions. Well, Erica is anyways. This is an episode Erica has been wanting to do for a long time. So yes, I am learning and we're going to do it. Maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised and I'm going to learn a lot more than I think.
Than you ever wanted to know.
No, I think I do. I want to know. I like knowing these things, how the whole process works behind the scenes of everything is actually very, very interesting.
Should we do our cocktail of the week?
Oh, yeah, sure. Cocktail of the week. Let's do that. Yes.
Okay. So I had a different cocktail picked out, and then we decided to record this at 9 a.m. my time, which is a little early for me to drink, even for me. So I am making like an Irish coffee. Okay. Because I still need my coffee. So I got my Baileys. I've got coffee in here. I don't know if you can see it. And I was looking up, do you know what the difference is between an Irish coffee and coffee with Baileys?
I have no idea.
I didn't know either. So Irish coffee, you're just using like brown sugar and cream. And then coffee with Baileys, you just use the Baileys instead of the brown sugar and cream. Okay. So you want about 1 ounce to 1.5 ounces of Baileys per 5 ounces of coffee. So we got that in there. And because I like a little coffee with my cream, I'm adding extra milk.
That's actually a fun fact I learned, that you and I share a love for heavy whipping cream.
Oh my God. Yeah, we can talk about that fiasco of the coffee in the hotel room.
Ugh. Yeah.
All right. I haven't had one of these in a really, really long time.
That looks yummy.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That is yummy. In fact, I think I'm going to add a little more.
A little.
Apparently
more
it's not too
of the Baileys.
Yeah. It's not too early for Baileys, just alcohol.
Yeah,
that doesn't really make sense. But
it doesn't count. Right. Yummy.
So I don't know if it's like whiskey. What is it? I don't know. Because you use whiskey when you make an Irish coffee.
It's a liqueur.
Is this a type of it? I don't know.
It's a liqueur.
I don't know. Okay. But look, can we appreciate my beautiful
I like the cup.
china and my...
That's very fancy.
And my little spoon. I realized this morning when I was getting this together that I don't have any of the glass. You know how Irish coffee is usually in a clear glass mug with like the handle? I have literally every kind of like wine glass, stemware, margarita. I have every kind of thing you could ever need. I don't have any of those glass, clear mugs. If anybody wants to send me a set for Christmas.
I bought them for like an eggnog set, which I hate eggnog, but my husband loves it.
Yeah, so I do too.
I have like 4 of them that we bought specifically for eggnog, but it would work the same way. Like, I don't remember where I got them.
Maybe we should do an eggnog cocktail of the week just so people could learn how to make it. I'm not a big fan. But I don't really know how to make it.
We've just always purchased it. I don't know how to make it either.
Like the pre-made, do you have to add alcohol or anything?
It depends. You can buy them with alcohol in it, like I think at the liquor stores already like that. Or they have just like regular eggnog that's not alcohol infused. Something like that.
Okay.
But again, I'm not a huge eggnog person, so I'm the worst person to ask this question to. So
to be continued.
Yeah, we'll get back on the eggnog on a following week.
But that's a good idea to do like a Christmas themed cocktail. Now that I'm thinking about it, I've seen a lot of those. There's a lot of cute little Instagrams of, we could do something like that, holiday themed. Anyway.
So I forgot to tell you something. I have a confession to make.
Oh God.
I know.
I'm scared.
I figured
you never know with Jeff. Wait. The last time you did this to me on a podcast, you were telling me that you tried to reach out to that one scab nurse to get her to come on.
This isn't as
without
bad.
Me knowing. Okay.
So we had our Redonda episode, the first one, right?
Yeah.
And if you recall, there were people that complained that whether I was talking over her or there was too much like interrupting. Okay. So I went back through and listened to the podcast again. And what I feel like happened was, I think you and I were both so into it, like excited to talk with her, that we did a lot of like, almost like confirmation of what she was saying. So there was a lot of, yeah. So it was like, once I really listened to it, it was nonstop. Okay, but here's the confession that I have to make so that Erica doesn't kill me.
Oh, God.
So I was so disappointed after listening to that I was like, I'm going to give
but
this.
It was a great podcast. It was great.
It was, but I decided to re-edit the whole thing.
Shut up.
Okay,
you did not. It's already posted.
Yes.
What'd you do?
Okay, so here's where the confession comes in. I re-edited it, and it sounds like butter. I spent like 5 hours on it. I took everybody's audio, separated it, fixed the yeahs, the the all of it, and went back and re-put in the new audio, and I thought I did it right, and I lost all of our views on that first podcast. I know she's gonna kill me, but it sounds so good now. I know. I thought I did it right, and then it just all of a sudden reset to 0, and I was like,
that was a good one too, huh? As far as views.
In all honesty, I think it should have done a lot better than it did. So it wasn't awful, but we lost about like 2,000, 3,000. But Erica, I want you to know,
she's doing this to me on the podcast so that I can't scream at her. I wouldn't scream at her anyway,
but I want you to go back and listen to it now. And anybody that hasn't, it sounds so good. Like it is the way it should have been. And I'm so proud of myself for re-editing it. And I wanted to do Redonda justice. Like I wanted to, I mean, obviously I can't provide her justice. You know what I'm saying? But I wanted the podcast to be amazing. And I understand now why people were saying that after listening to it again. And so
it was amazing though. It was great. It was a great 2-part podcast.
What I'm learning with podcasting is that you don't speak on a podcast like you speak in normal conversation. And that's something that I have not really understood until now. Like normally if you're talking to a girlfriend, you do that. Yeah. Oh, of course. I know, all these little affirmations. But on a podcast, you have to learn to zip it when somebody else is talking and just let them talk and finish their sentiment without all the interjections. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm guilty of that too. I'm always like,
yes,
constantly.
You were just as bad as me. I ain't gonna lie. It was the two of us. It was the two of us. But I fixed it. It sounds great. I'm sorry that I lost us those views, but I want you to share it with Redonda and let her listen to it again because I fixed it and it's amazing. It's
only
the way
the first
it
episode, not the second half.
No, the second half actually wasn't. It was better. It was a lot better. So I didn't go through and do that. And I don't know if maybe I was maybe I was nervous, or maybe I just felt like we were talking like
Excited.
girlfriends. So
Yeah.
anywho, that was my little confession. But as we go through this, I feel like I'm learning a
That's
lot
all right.
about podcasting. Like,
Yeah.
about learning to let somebody do their sentence without feeling like you need to constantly, all of that. And
It's hard.
Yeah, it is, but it's okay.
And sometimes depending on the guest and what their like audio setup is, we had this problem last week. There's a major delay and it's so awkward. Like it's so long, the delay, that you want to repeat it. And sometimes you end up repeating the same question because you think maybe they didn't hear it. And then it gets cut off. And it's so hard when that happens to deal with that.
Yeah, there's you ask something and then you're looking at the person and there's a pause. And you're like,
so awkward.
You're like, did they just have like a Mitch McConnell moment?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where they're like zoning out. I wish I could see my face right now.
For real.
On a good note, we just got our 50,000 podcast download little certificate from Podbean today. Yeah, so
look at us.
Cheers and congratulations to us on over 50,000 downloads.
Woo-hoo.
So that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. We're doing good.
We are doing good. We're moving right along. So
just don't judge us on our Redonda views, because it doesn't look like
because it was a lot better. And oopsie, I guess we need to re-promote it again, Erica. Maybe.
Okay, we can do that.
And now I'm a lot more proud, if that's a way of saying it. But I was
you did
proud
not
of it
have
initially,
to do all that because it was already great. But I appreciate your effort.
I wanted
know that
to.
was
I wanted
a pain
to.
in the ass.
It was. I'm not going to lie. It was. But it sounds really good now, and it's taught me to learn to give people a chance, but not feel like I have to constantly interject and make them feel like I'm listening. They know I'm listening. I don't have to, and you don't either. I mean, but it's just getting in that mindset of you're taping a podcast. You're not sitting down and having a normal conversation. It's different. So, anywho,
right.
Please forgive me. Forgive us, people. We're just human beings.
You. I love you.
Love you.
All is good.
I think it's the Baileys talking. Erica's like, it's all good. All right, let's talk about strikes. Let's get into why we're really here today.
All right.
So let's start from the beginning. You called me up and said, "Hey, girl,
you want to go to a strike?"
And I said, "Where?"
Yeah.
And then you told me.
And it's always chaos. Well, this is your second strike, so I feel like I have gotten you addicted to the strike world because it is kind of addicting. The energy is incredible. The problem is that you never know till the last minute if someone's going to go on strike or not, because hopefully the goal is that they reach an agreement beforehand and they avert a strike. So it's always like just this terrible timing cluster, of last minute, drop everything you have going on and travel to who knows where. Right. And that's kind of what it was. I called you and I'm like, you want to go to a strike in like a couple days? It's like Washington State, which is really far from you. It was a lot closer for me.
Did you see how good I just did right there, not saying anything? That whole time you just talked.
I noticed that.
I didn't
you
do
were just
one.
Nodding.
Wasn't that good? That's going to sound so good.
That was really good.
So I said, yeah, where is it? And then I heard it was across the country, literally, for me, which I felt like it was my turn because Erica had to do that before.
With the last strike in New York. Yeah.
But I didn't realize how much travel was really going to be involved for me to get from Florida all the way to Washington State. It's a lot. It was a lot of flying.
Right. Because there's a little airport where we were, which I flew into. It was fabulous. But for you coming from Florida, it was like not feasible. It would have been way more money and time and didn't want to do all that. So you rented a car.
Yes, I did. I was brave. I've never rented a car alone. I know that sounds like a big baby thing. I've always, if I traveled, I've been like with my husband, or I've never traveled really alone somewhere where I would need to get a rental car. But to Uber from the airport that I flew into and try to get to where the strike was at, which was in Everett. And so I flew into Seattle, Washington, and it was about an hour and 15-minute drive. The Uber would have been, and that's depending on time of day, anywhere from like $100 to $150, which is silly, when I could rent a car for less than that. So that's what I did. And I got in that little rental car when there was no sunshine at all. It was dark in a state I don't know, but I made it. I made it there. One of the flights was 6 hours. I'm like, I didn't think it took that long to get to the other side of the United States, but evidently it does.
I had a lovely little hop, skip, and a jump into a tiny little airport that you only have to walk like 20 feet and you're outside. It was fabulous. Took a little Uber for 15 minutes, got to the hotel. It was lovely.
Must be nice. That's how I'm going to be when we go on the Nurse Blake cruise. You know that? Because I only have to go to Miami.
It's leaving where you are. Yeah.
Well, I'm actually going to fly to Miami, but it's only a 40-minute flight. So that it'll be super short, but you're going to be coming from Vegas all the way to Miami.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I don't know how long of a direct flight that could be, but I guess
we got to still plan stuff before that. I'm going to come to Florida a little early. Julie wants me to come see her. I don't know where she is in Florida compared to everything else, but anyway, we got to figure it all out.
We'll get there. We'll get there. So okay, so we did it. We did it. Yeah, and we did it. We made the arrangements, and
we got
flew there
late. You got there late. I got there a few hours earlier, and I just kind of vegged in the room, starving, waiting for you to show.
Wait, you got to tell them about the bed situation. What happened to us?
Oh, I almost forgot. Yeah, so when I checked in, they said something about a king size bed, and I'm like, no, we're supposed to have 2 beds. I specifically. I remember doing it, and they're like, "No,
for lovers." I don't know. Isn't that like a state? Virginia's for lovers? I don't know. There's one state.
They swear that's what I booked was a room with king, and that's all they had, and they were full. We find out later why they're full, but I remember thinking, well, that's odd because it was like, what was it, like a Thursday or something?
Mm-hmm.
In Everett, Washington. Why is the hotel full? Well, now we know it's full of freaking scabs, but we'll get to that. Anyway, so I have to beg, borrow, and plead with the front desk lady. Actually, she was very nice. And she had one room left that she gave us. It was a suite that they upgraded free of charge. It was the handicap suite, but that's okay. So we had the walk-in shower.
Yeah, we get a shower chair and arm rails. The shower was very interesting, wasn't it, Erica?
I did not have that problem because you warned me. All I know is she took the first shower and there was a scream from the bathroom.
It was pelting water, and you had to take the handheld nozzle. I don't know. It was definitely very accommodating for the handicapped individuals that would need that room. I will say 5 stars if you're handicapped and you need a special.
It was a nice room. It was a nice hotel. It really was.
Yeah.
But so they gave us a suite that they still didn't have 2 beds, but it had a king size bed and a rollout sofa bed thing situation.
So what I've learned is Nurse Erica, no, you need your space. Because I'm like,
I do need my space.
Big deal. We'll just line up. King is big. We'll line up pillows in the middle. And her face is we could take turns.
It's not that I mind sharing. It's that I know I won't sleep that well. Because if you move, I'll wake up. And this bitch screams in the middle of the night. Screams.
I do.
She has night terrors.
I do. I did. I scared you.
Didn't
really
warn me the first time. So I'm like, what is going on?
I know. I think was it that first night or maybe the second night? It was bad. I screamed multiple times.
Yeah, I can't even. You screamed why are you doing this to me or something? And you sounded so upset.
You thought somebody was in the room. You thought
yes. I'm like, what?
And then I was like, oh. I was like, never mind. I'm just dreaming. Go back to sleep, Erica.
She's I do that sometimes.
It's probably because I was on the sofa bed and I was traumatized the second night. I don't know. That night I was having bad nightmares. It's always when I'm trying to, like, in my dream, really get a message across. And, like, I'm so mad in my dream that they're not listening to me that's when I'll, like, shout it out in my sleep. It's weird.
Loud.
But anywho, yeah, I never warned her about that. But
well, I think you did it last time in New York too. And so I knew about it this time, but nothing prepares you for that at 3 a.m.
I think I only yelled, like, the F-bomb one time. I was like, fuck. I'll have to bleep that out. But I think it was minute and quick. But this last one was, like, bad.
It was bad.
A bad scream.
And then you did it a second time. I don't know if it was the second night, but and it was just like, no. Like, you screamed, no. She's all up in her feels. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. Anywho. So we
got
a
lovely
early.
Room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we went to dinner, but you have to tell them about the bar. We went to dinner in the hotel and we're walking down the hall towards the restaurant. And what do we see?
It was like a book club, or I don't know. It was like silent. It was a silent bar. Silent. I've never seen it. It was silent. A bunch of, like, college age students, tons of them, but nobody was speaking.
At a bar.
I'm like, is this a library bar? Yeah. I was very
and Jessica,
confused.
In her loud voice, is this a library bar?
I know. I'm like the only person talking. I'm like, I don't, because it looked like a nice little bar, but I'm like, why is nobody talking? So then we get up the waiter.
Yeah.
What did he say? They were college students or no?
He said, I don't know, but he said it's a book club. And we're like, oh, well, that makes sense. But who the hell has a book club in a bar? That seems like an odd
I don't know. It's an odd combination. Yeah. But isn't the point of a book club, like, you're supposed to be discussing it together? Nobody was talking. Yeah. So maybe they were just reading together?
Maybe it was a reading club.
I don't know. It was very, very weird.
Anyway, they sold chardonnay downstairs in the little shop thing. And so I think you got it. You got it on your way up. So we had a bottle of chardonnay.
Yeah,
in the room.
Before I got to see Erica in the room, I purchased. You have no idea. After traveling, wait, I forgot to tell the people. I was stuck on a plane for 6 hours in between somebody crocheting doilies, okay, whose arms were, imagine when you see somebody crochet, it's like they're conducting a freaking symphony, okay? And I'm in the middle, and then the guy on the other side of me by the window warned me that he has snoring and bad apnea, and he was to slap him, he told me, if he starts. I said, I'm not going to slap you, sir. He's like, no, I'm serious. Like, it's bad. I will disrupt the whole plane. So,
oh my God.
The whole time I'm getting jabbed by the lovely woman who gave me one of her creations, which was very nice. She didn't have to do that. But she was trying to find her way to pass the time. I get it. The man on the other side of me just wanted to sleep away the pain of the 6-hour flight. And then I was in the middle. I put my AirPods in and I just tried to zone out as best I could. But it was a long flight. And I like to pee often. I had to pee. So, like, every hour or so, hour and a half, I'm like, excuse me, to the doily lady. Can I get up again?
It's always an adventure.
Yeah.
So we had dinner. We go to bed. She screams in the middle of the night. We wake up early and start getting ready for the strike. And
don't forget our impersonations we did. That was entertaining. My masshole McGuido impersonations. That was a lot of fun. I
was laying in bed trying to fall asleep.
Yeah, I got into my inner mass hole, as Redonda likes to say, channel your inner mass hole. And you
kind of nailed it.
Yeah, I did. He loved it. I'm glad he loved it. I loved seeing his reaction and him laughing to my impersonation. He got a kick out of it. So if you guys don't know who Masshole McGuido is, he's on TikTok. He's a great guy. He's another nursing advocate. So if
he was
you
a guest.
Don't follow
he was
him,
our first guest on the podcast.
Yep. Yeah, we did violence
he'll be
against
back
healthcare workers. Days. Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. But he has a very heavy Boston accent. So it's It's
So
very
heavy.
cute.
Jessica lives in Florida and I live in Vegas in the desert. We are not cold weather people.
No, I
At
am
all.
not a cold. I like to have some cool weather here in Florida. You know, like I enjoy the 60s, maybe 50s every once in a while. You know,
That's about as low as I'll tolerate. Yeah.
yeah. But
It was
this
like
was
32 degrees. It was freezing, literally.
But
freezing.
I don't know why it was a different kind of 32 degrees to me. I've been in 32 degrees before, or maybe it was just because when you're on a strike, you're outdoors the whole time. It's not like you are taking a break.
Yeah.
I mean,
and we're
that's
standing on
just
the cold cement.
under the shade,
You
which it was a
know.
covered area there in
Yeah.
Everett, Washington.
Yeah.
Providence Hospital, right? Providence, yes.
Yep.
And
Providence
so
Everett Hospital in
there was
Everett,
no
Washington.
sunshine. Like you weren't getting sunshine on you on the strike line.
Yeah.
So it was shaded. It just made it a lot colder. I think it felt a lot colder.
So one of the first people said to me when we got there, like, do you have your wool socks on? What the hell are wool socks? No, I don't own wool socks. And then they said, do you have at least 2 pairs of socks? No. I have on some little Nike no-shows. What are you talking about? Like, I live in flip-flops.
I didn't even bring gloves. I'm an idiot. I didn't even bring gloves.
I brought 2 pairs, so I gave you gloves. But it was so cold.
But
so
these
we first get
are
there
prepared.
Oh my God.
All the hot packs. They had all the hot
took
packs
care of
for
us.
Everybody. They went and bought us socks and
they bought us
what else did
wool socks.
Yeah,
wool
and
socks. They went and bought it and brought it to us
too. I'm
was
trying to
so
remember
nice.
if more gloves.
They
gave us each a set of new gloves.
Oh
too.
yeah. They did. Yeah,
which we did not ask
they did.
for.
They were
but I
so
think
lovely.
That they recognized that we were going to be.
It was not
frozen,
good.
and we were not prepared. And they looked at us and were like, "Oh God, they're gonna leave if we don't do something."
Yeah, I mean, I thought I was prepared. Like, I had a heated jacket. I had not like earmuffs, but one of those things that cover your ears. I had gloves. I thought I was prepared. No, I was sadly underprepared, and it was so cold. And you have a condition that does not bode well in cold weather.
No, and evidently a lot of nurses have this, or a lot of people. It's Raynaud's syndrome. So basically, when the temperature gets to a certain, I don't know if it's different for everybody, but when you get cold like that, I lose circulation in especially my feet, like my extremities. Usually, it's my pinky toe on my feet go first, and then it'll start progressively going to the other toes. But it's not just that you're losing circulation; it's painful. It's like almost like pins and needles is the only way I can describe it. It hurts. Like you. So I started panicking at one point. We had been out there for an hour, and I bolted on here. I was like, I gotta go.
I think it had been more than an hour. We had been there a while already.
Maybe it was 2 hours, but I was like, I'm going to go and get the rental car because in my mind, I'm like, I need somewhere to escape every once in a while to heat up.
And we had Ubered there, so you had to Uber back to the hotel, get the rental car, come back, find somewhere. Here's the best thing ever, though. Can I just tell you? Okay, so Jessica leaves. I stay on the strike line. I'm doing lives. I'm doing all this stuff. She's gone a little while, and then just about the time I'm like, I literally cannot feel my feet anymore. I'm afraid I might fall and break a foot or bone, ankle, something, and not know. Like, they were so frozen. So I start walking back to where like the tent is with the union and everything. And I sit down and I'm talking to a couple nurses, and Jessica, I think you texted me, or no, you called me, and I answered, and she says, like cloak and dagger, I have the car. It's really warm in here, and I have McDonald's.
I said, I'm two blocks away, and this one goes, I cannot walk. I cannot. You have to come get me. I cannot walk anymore. I cannot walk. So I came in like, I felt like a superhero. Only a hero can save us. I'm not gonna stand in. And I rolled with my car. I rolled the window down, and I'm like, Erica. I was like in slow motion, like, I'm over here. I scooped her up. We parked again. We
went around the corner.
I had the heater going, and
it was so warm in there.
Delicious McDonald's. It was like,
when I tell you
needed.
Those
So
cheeseburgers, I almost never eat McDonald's. I haven't had a McDonald's cheeseburger in like years and years. And something about being that cold, almost painful, and finally sitting down and in heat, and she hands me a McDonald's cheeseburger. I'm like, this is the best damn thing I have ever eaten in my entire life. It was so good.
It just hit the spot. It was like, I like the little regular cheeseburgers because I like the little crunchy little onions they put in the ketchup. Like it's so freaking good. It was delicious. So we warmed up. It took a little while. I think we took like a 30-minute break, and then
I put on my wool socks.
Yep. We got
and then we went back out there. We did several lives from the strike line. It was, how many nurses did we say? 1,300 nurses from Providence Everett Hospital in Everett, Washington went on strike. It was a 5-day strike. We were there for day 3, I think? Day 3 of their strike, I believe.
Yes. Yeah. Day 3.
Yeah, we couldn't get there for day 1. It was cutting it too close. I love to be there the first day of a strike. That's my favorite. But I'm so glad that we got to go anyway. And we did all the lives.
I finally got to see Scabby because I didn't get to see Scabby the rat.
If you guys have been listening, you know the drama that we went to try and see Scabby in the last strike. It was not good.
No, we did a full exercise routine to get to Scabby the last time, and then we learned Scabby wasn't even there anymore. We were walking in circles for no reason. So this time it was very easy to get to Scabby.
He was right there at the tent. It was a beautiful sight to behold. Yes. And they had so much food there, the union, and had brought so much food, and the community kept driving by and dropping off like just coffee and food and everything. They had a huge layout there. It was really nice. They had this cute little gazebo. It was in like a park across from the hospital is where they had like their headquarters thing set up. And that's kind of where people would gather when they weren't in front of the hospital striking, you know? And so we sat there for a while. At one point talking to nurses, and nurses just kept coming up to us. And Jessica gets in these.
Wait, let's talk about when Erica walks into a strike, it's as if like Jesus Christ has arrived. Okay. Like I'm telling you, they're all like, there she is. It's Erica. Like seriously. I hear the music. Only a hero can save us.
Oh my God.
And they're like, Erica, thank you so much for. But honestly, it's so cute because they really, really do appreciate Erica showing up because, you know, I mean, this is Erica's jam and she supports, you know, all the strikes and the fights and the unions, and they were just so cute, though. They get so tickled pink, you know.
It's really nice when they appreciate it. It's really nice.
It's adorable, actually. So the other thing, though, that I was going to say that was a little strange is when we first got on the strike line, do you remember that one man that I thought he was like rolling down his window to support us, and he was screaming at the nurses because of the
what did he say?
Noise? He said that they were disrupting the peace, and that's the whole point
like
of
10 or 11 in the morning. Like, give me a break. No one's disrupting the peace.
Y'all need to get out of here. Like he was just, I was like, wow. Like I didn't have the first strike I went to, I didn't see anybody stop and be mean. So I was surprised. Like I guess there's always going to be a couple people like that, you know, that there's a lot of houses around that hospital though. So maybe that's part of it. I don't know. And they went 24 hours a day as opposed to the other strike we went to that they stopped at a certain time.
Not as common. That's really hard to do, especially this time of year in that weather. Can you imagine? We were so cold in the middle of the day. Can you imagine at 2 a.m.? They were committed. They were on strike 24/7. They had people signed up for shifts. And that's impressive. Like that that takes some commitment. It was very impressive.
Like, seriously,
was
kudos
so
to them.
nice.
Kudos. They were so nice. Everybody was
Weren't they?
very, very, very nice. Like, just overly
Yeah.
like supportive and gracious and thankful. But I'm just saying, a great community of nurses, like just everybody pitching in, taking turns. Like Erica was saying, there's so much like food and support and warmth, and they were just so everybody was really, really nice to one another. It was very nice and easy to talk to people there, for sure. You could just sit down, like Erica and I did a couple times, and go sit on the bench there and just chit chat with everybody. And I liked that. That was
cool. We talked to
a
lot of people that come up to us. And it's kind of funny because you can sometimes see them like lurking. Like,
I know,
and in a group of like 2 or 3 in there, and you can almost hear them like, should we go up there? Should we not go up there? And
I know.
I'm so awkward. I'm just so awkward when I first kind of like meet. I don't know how to act. So they're worried about they don't know how to act. I don't know how to act. I don't know what to do with like people wanting to take my picture. I still will. I'll never get used to that.
I think we're going to say no. So they're worried that we're going to be like annoyed, which please
would never.
No. I mean, if I ever get to that point one day, somebody slap me, okay?
Right.
If I ever get to the point that I'm like, I don't want to do a picture, there's something wrong with me.
I'm so grateful when they come up and they talk and they just want to be nice and tell us what's going on. And like, it's because this sounds silly. Like, obviously the strikers have it hardest, of course. They're on strike. They're out there. They're not getting paid. They're doing all the things. And so I don't want to compare myself to what they're going through in any way, shape, or form. But it is a little awkward when you first arrive and you don't know anyone. I knew like one person there beforehand. And to just walk into this group where everyone knows each other and just like start making videos and talking about them in front of them. And it's awkward for me. I kind of struggle with that. I'm like, this is so weird. And I know they appreciate it, but so I feel strange when I get there. I feel awkward. So please don't ever feel awkward coming up to us.
It makes us feel better.
Grateful.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
When we first got there, I forgot to tell you, Erica, I thought like, okay, so how the strike line was like down the road versus where I thought where everyone gathered, like the little gazebo. I thought that was it. I was like, oh my God, their strike has a bad turnout. There ain't nobody here. I was like, they're not even walking. Nobody's what? I was like, oh my God, this is going to be awful. In my mind, I was like, oh God. I'm like, I hope people show up. But I didn't realize that they were doing it, down the road. And because the
right
last
in front of the hospital,
it was all the walk and the whatever you call it, the area that the
tent. Yeah.
Yes, the tent was all in one spot. So I assumed that that's how they all were, which I guess obviously they're all different. But then I finally realized, everybody's now it makes sense.
And then they had a second strike on the back of the hospital at the ER entrance, which we later in the day went around there and saw them, drove by, honking the horns.
And at the other, where the L&D nurses were, right? At another location. So it was almost
that
like
one was so weird. Yeah, so it was 2 different facilities that were on strike. And so our plan all day was to go to the second facility, like in the afternoon. And we got directions. It was really close by, but it was just not a very big strike. And there didn't seem to be like any kind of tent or gathering area. I don't know if we got
really sure where to stop. But I think it probably was a lot smaller. I mean, I just think that that's like their women's part of their hospital. Like some hospitals separate it like that. So I think it was just, but it was cool that they had, nurses representing in each section.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was good. The other thing I think we should talk about that was big about this strike, Erica, tell them about the sign that they had on this hospital.
So this is probably now my favorite thing I've ever seen at a strike. I've said before that it was the Minnesota kayaking nurses that during their big strike last year were kayaking with strike signs in front of the hospital. That was amazing. But this strike, the union, which was UFCW 3000, it stands for United Food and Commercial Workers, I believe. They like rented this projector through this one company. So a projector that projected an image onto the outside of the hospital. And they did it for like 10 days leading up to the strike. And it would say every day, 10 days till strike, 9 days, 7 days till strike, counting down. And the hospital, I'm sure, thought when they finally went on strike, well, at least the damn projection will be gone. Oh no. They kept it going. What did it say? Like, I can't even remember. I'd have to look at the pictures, like nurses on strike or something. They changed it to that for the 5 days of the strike. And so
yes,
we ended up talking to the the director with the union who was leading the strike. And she said, we're not breaking any laws. The hospital actually called the police out here the first day. And the police, came and talked to us and said, well, you're not breaking any laws. You're on private property, where they would put it on like a truck and it would project onto the hospital. It was on private property. There was just one rule that you couldn't project it on a window, which I didn't know. I guess for
because that could
reasons.
interfere. Yeah, or that could interfere with anybody's, not just patients. I mean, I'm talking about if you, I guess, did it to somebody's home or some, the light probably shining in somebody's eyes or
yeah,
whatever. But they had a huge clear spot. Right.
It was
on the front
like
of
you
the
can
hospital.
see it from blocks away. It's so good. It's brilliant. And since then, I've had several unions reach out to me and ask me, like, how did they do that? Where did they get that? So I've been passing on the company information to other unions.
Yeah.
It's fabulous. So imagine you're a patient or visitor and you have to go to that hospital. You're going to see every day that the nurses are on strike.
Yeah, that's amazing. And there was nothing they could do about it. I'm sure they hated it. They probably couldn't stand the fact that was happening. But that was just like, that was the best that they were able to do that and it not be breaking any laws. That's
brilliant. And badass, like well played.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was our goal, was to see that at night. We wanted to be able to see the sign at night and get a picture. And we did later that night when we went back.
Yeah, we did. So Erica, let's do the problem of the week. Problem of the week. Yeah, let's, before we talk more about the rest of our adventure. I got a message from somebody and I'm going to read it. I'm a nurse in West Virginia. I've been a nurse since 2005. I pissed off administration by speaking out against misdeeds and environmental issues. I was beat up by a psychiatric patient who was inappropriately placed in our nursing home. While he was punching me, I minimally held his forearms to block the painful punches. Now I'm being accused of abuse. He had no injuries. Meanwhile, I'm still bruised and in pain. Have you ever heard of a travesty like this? What can I do? This is awful. Just freaking.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I've heard of tons of similar situations. Tons.
I mean, they're trying to flip it on her. They're trying to flip it. Like, yeah, she's trying to defend herself.
Could you have done differently? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so to prevent her from potentially reporting it, making a big deal out of it, pressing charges, whatever, they are flipping it to make her the bad guy so that she will, probably not report it and not push it. Because then you're just so worried about your nursing license and your job and, all of that. It's dirty, dirty manipulation. And it just pisses me off to no end.
So here's the thing. Are we allowed to fight back? Is that allowed? Can you physically defend yourself?
I will tell you, if it's me, I'm going to defend myself 100% of the time.
I would try as well. I would try that as well. But look at what happened to the poor lady that's behind bars because of defending herself against a coworker. Well,
Oh, Sybil
Yes.
Garbo.
Wasn't that a
Yeah.
similar situation, sort of, that she was
Yes.
defending
Yes.
herself?
Mm-hmm.
And so it makes you scared to even try to defend yourself. But I'm like you.
Yeah.
I think that my instinct would kick in and it would be like fight or flight, and I would try whatever I could to, that would be me. But I mean, for
the
them
bare
to,
minimum is to block them and protect like your face and your head. Obviously, that's the bare minimum. But would I do everything in my power to fight back and get them to stop? Would I grab something? Would I shove it in their eye? Yeah, I would.
Me too.
Go ahead. Report me to the police. Let me report to everyone, OSHA, everyone, about how you failed to provide safe working conditions for your employees. Let me press charges. Let me go to the media. If you're going to vilify me for simply protecting myself, when you as an employer have an obligation to provide safe working conditions and you failed, come after me. I dare you.
You're right, though. There has been so many, and now that we're talking, I'm thinking of all these different things that have happened where, patients have become violent. I mean, I'm not good at remembering names, but like that one other gentleman that was in the ICU for so long, on the psychiatric unit, remember?
Yes.
It was a big guy. The psych patient was not a frail man. He was a big man, and
he was a huge guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So he caused a lot of harm. Obviously to the point they didn't know if this nurse was going to make it. Like, scary out there. It is scary. And then now to the hospital to try to spin it on you and to take the blame off of the patient terrible. Where it started, or the blame off of the hospital for not having proper workplace conditions and proper safety and such a mess.
Listen, if you're ever injured at work, you need to press charges. I don't care if it's a pediatric patient, an Alzheimer's patient, a psych patient. I don't care. Press charges. It creates a tracking system. It creates a paper trail should there ever be a court case or anything down the line. Press charges. Now, they'll say, oh, well, they're not going to prosecute. Okay, that's not up to you. Unfortunately, that's up to the district attorney. They may very well choose not to prosecute, but you still have the paper trail. You still reported it. It is discoverable in court, all those things. So always press charges. Always fill out an incident report. A lot of places will have a separate like workplace violence kind of form or way of reporting. Do one of those and an incident report. And keep in mind, incident reports are not discoverable in court usually, unless you're, Redonda bot. But so you want the outside form tracking mechanism, and make it known. Put, emails to your supervisor detailing what happened and how you felt and the injuries, and go through Workmans Comp, because that's a workplace injury. And if they deny your Workman's Comp claim, because they do like 90% of the time just to get people to give up, appeal it and keep appealing it. There's several appeals that you have, but you gotta fight back and protect yourself and not tolerate the gaslighting manipulation when they try to make you the victim or the bad guy.
If you have like a manager that is trying to talk you out of pressing charges, what do you think the best thing for a nurse to do? Would it be to contact law enforcement after the shift or immediately? Like, if you know it's going to cause controversy, it's a hard thing.
Tough one. That's a tough one. And we're so busy in a shift. It's like, who has time to even do that? I would probably call during my shift. At least it's going to like protect your timeline, so to speak, and say this happened at such and such a time. I am not able to get off work until 7:30. Is it possible that you could send an officer here to take my statement? Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. Or you go there to the police station after work or the next morning.
Because unfortunately, a lot of management will frown upon that, and they don't want you to do that because they don't want the information out there. So that makes it awkward. That's such a hard position to be in.
They don't want the bad press for the hospital. Yeah. That's all it is. I was going to say, do you want to tell them about the candlelight vigil at the strike.
Oh, yes. The candle, I forgot to mention that. It was so pretty. So the day that we were there, that evening, they had a candlelight vigil for any patient that has lost their life or has been affected to not having proper nurse-to-patient ratios. So it was basically a very respectful tribute to basically anybody that has suffered because of what's going on in hospitals all over the U.S. And it was beautiful. There was such a huge turnout. There were I didn't think it would be that
there
big
were some
of an
community
event.
leaders there. Yeah.
We couldn't even find
It was in
parking.
the park right across.
Remember, Erica? We couldn't find anywhere to put the car. That's how many people were there.
Yeah.
It was like...
It was beautiful. And so we tried to Uber there. And no. We tried to drive there. And there was literally nowhere to park because they had such a big turnout. We went around and around and around. There was nowhere to park. We had to drive back to the hotel, get in an Uber, go back to so we were a little late, but I'm glad that we caught it. It was lovely. And we ended up standing right near a group of new grads that we didn't even know.
That was really cool. That was a really cool experience. Yeah. There was probably, was it like 5 of them, I think, that were together.
Yeah, maybe
I think
6.
they worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they were all new grads who had just gone through their orientation, had maybe been off a few weeks, and then, the strike happened. But Erica and I were able to ask them a lot of questions about how it's like being affected as a new grad in a hospital that has such horrible working conditions. And, hearing what they told us was, just to hear it directly from their mouth was just scary, and just brings in the reality of how poor their training is, how they're being pushed to do things they're not ready to do. It's just scary all the way around. Scary for them, scary for the patients that they're taking care of, and realizing it's not their fault, But I think that was one of our big questions was, how often are you being thrown into these uncomfortable situations? And they were like, that first thing all the time.
Every day.
Every day.
I think they were all ER nurses, and they had just finished their preceptorship, which I can't recall, but it wasn't very long, 6 weeks maybe or something. I forget. It wasn't long enough.
I know that it wasn't
a new
long
grad,
enough.
especially in ER. And they were talking about how they are, given pods or areas in the ER that are assigned to them that they're not even supposed to be there alone yet. Because I think it comes because they didn't have TNCC yet or something. So, but they were routinely put there by themselves with no resource person, that they would ask for help. They would get no help, that they are just every single day set up for failure, and that they are really afraid for their license. And they'd only been on their own for, was it 3 weeks or something before the strike?
Yeah.
Imagine the courage that it takes for any nurse to go on strike. It takes courage, right? But for a new grad, and a new grad who was just off orientation, kudos to them. That
they were
is
such
impressive.
Troopers about it. They were like, we're already in debt anyways.
Yeah.
We've been in nursing school, so we just figured, oh well, I guess we're just going to continue on and miss out on some hours, and it is what it is. But they were such troopers about it. They were just like, it is, it's okay. But
they were amazing.
That was a great experience. So let's talk about the elevator.
Oh my
Erica.
God.
Because this turned into a controversy.
Oh
this
it
turned
did.
into a thing online. I can't. Erica, you got to share this, because thank God it happened to you, not me.
Well, at first it happened to both of us, but then it happened to me. So I think it was when we were going to the candlelight vigil. So we were leaving our hotel room, walking to the elevator, and we're waiting for the elevator. And I noticed there's 4 people there. And one looks to be a nurse. They're wearing scrubs. Now, in retrospect, as soon as we walked up, the nurse looked down at the floor and didn't raise their head again. I did not think anything of it. And then we get on the elevator, and you tell them what the one lady said to the nurse.
I'm trying to remember. What I remember was it finally clicked for me in the elevator, because as that one nurse came on that was standing there with us, there was a couple more nurses already in the elevator. And I realized I'm like, why is there bunch of nurses?
Already?
Yeah. Why is there nurses going to a shift? Like, I was confused. Like,
from a hotel.
They're all on strike from a hotel. And then, the lady in the elevator asked a question. She said, why? I see buses picking you guys up. Where are you going?
How much longer are the buses going to keep picking you guys up every day? At which point, Jessica and I turned and looked at each other and went.
And I'm not good at keeping an expression. I think my eyeballs got like ginormous, and I realized this is why this hotel is so busy, because the scab nurses
I didn't even realize that. I didn't even think this is like Scab Central. I just really thought, we're in an elevator with a scab, like one. But this is like a 30-second elevator ride. You know, it sounds longer, but it was really quick. And I don't think my synapses were quite firing, because I really didn't quite grasp it until like the doors opened and we were getting off. And as soon as we got off, like they took off. That girl just like was gone. And she must have been like, please, dear God, get me off the elevator from Nurse Erica. This to be on TikTok or something.
So Erica was mad at herself. She's like, why didn't I didn't put it together fast enough. I should have said something. I should have asked something.
I am still mad at myself. I wish I had like another 15 seconds to just process it, because I would have totally turned around and been like, oh, so you're a scab. You're going to scab the strike. That's where you're headed right now. And I'm so mad at myself.
If Nurse Erica blocking the elevator door. Is that where you're going? Is it? Are you proud of yourself? I could hear you.
And I would hope, if that did happen, that I could count on you, my friend, to pull out the phone and start recording.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah, I would. I'd be like, you tell him, Erica.
Next day, Jessica had to leave early because she had to take the rental car back and drive back to Seattle and do all the things. And my flight wasn't until like 5 or something, like way later. So I had a late checkout. I hung out, made some videos. It was lovely. We were overlooking like a harbor. I kind of sat out on the balcony. And then I leisurely, get my stuff together, go down to the lobby to check out. It's like 2 p.m. Okay. I check out, I go to sit down, call for an Uber. The Uber is going to be like 25 minutes or something. So I'm like, cool, no problem. I'm going to sit here and like catch up on emails and stuff. Again, because I'm often clueless about what's going on around me, I remember now that there was a nurse right beside me at the desk, which is where like the little store is, where you can get your snacks and stuff. And she's in scrubs and she's getting snacks.
Or your chardonay.
Your chardonnay there too. Yeah. But I don't think anything of it. Then I go and sit down, and almost immediately 2 other people, a man and a woman in scrubs, come down and sit like right in front of me. I'm against the wall. And then I see another person in scrubs walking through the lobby to sit down. Like they're all sitting there and waiting. And it wasn't until that moment where I'm like, oh my God, they're all staying here. Like I was so blunt. I don't know why I didn't put 2 and 2 together. I'm like, that's why the hotel was full. They're all here. And what are the chances that I would be at the Scab Hotel? Like, God is mocking me. What is going on?
God was like, what are you going to do with this, Erica? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
It was like a test. But you were also confused. Remember, it was the time of day because
it's who the hell goes to work at like 2 p.m?
I was telling you, my hospital does that. They do a lot of 8-hour blocks, so a lot of people come at 3.
ER does
3 to
some
11.
funky shifts, so maybe. But I got a lot of hate later for people that are like, you were just stalking the scabs. If I wanted to stalk the scabs, I would have been down there at 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. It was 2 p.m. I didn't even know that they were all staying there. It was just such a sheer coincidence. So I see them there, and then I see like this big van pull up that's just waiting outside the front lobby hotel doors. And I'm like, oh my God, they're here. They're waiting for their bus to go in for, what the fuck? And I had a moment where I'm like, what do I do? Like, what do I do? Like, I'm not going to stand up and like make a scene, but I have to do something. So of course I pulled out my phone and I start recording. Of course I did. So this goes on for like 15 minutes, maybe.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Coming down, waiting. Oh, yeah. No, it was a while, like 15, 20 minutes or so. And they're kind of trickling in more and more. It might have been like 1:45 or something. I don't know. And they were leaving at 2. I don't know. But I was at the end of this big, long hallway. And at the other end was the elevators. And then where I was the lobby. And I'm sitting against a wall directly at the end. So I start to notice nurses getting off the elevator, walking down the hall. They would like have their phone in their hand or something, look up, see me, and they would walk away the other way, which went, I don't know where, out a back door somewhere.
Or like the one nurse hid behind a pillar.
Yeah. Like a couple did that. It was like did that. Like another one went behind another pillar. The ones that realized who I was, I think. Some of them didn't realize. And like 2 of them just sat right in front of me talking the whole time. Mm-hmm. And then finally, this one nurse comes down. She clearly sees me. And it's not like I was like with my phone, like conspicuous. But I mean, it was obvious because I was sitting there and I would have it, kind of like this, like lower in my lap, standing up. So like, I wasn't trying to hide it. And she sees me and she stops behind a pillar.
She first her instinct was fight or flight or hide. So first she decided to hide, as if what, she was going to stay there forever and just never move.
She stood there for probably, I don't know, like 30 seconds or like clearly she was pausing, hiding, trying to figure out her next move.
Then she realized there was nowhere
to go, and she had to get on the bus. So she comes out from behind the pillar, and I'm across the lobby from her, and she turns around as she's walking out the door and looks at me and goes, "Did you get a good picture?"
Yeah, that's exactly how she said it. It was like a raspy voice. Did you? I got a good picture. It was like that. It was kind of scary,
and I was just kind of chuckling. I was like, I hope I did. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
So I got all in all like 5 separate videos, and I wasn't really sure what I was even going to do with it. Cause honestly, I was in shock. I was like, what are the chances that me of all people, am going to be at the Scab Hotel? Like, I just was trying to wrap my mind around that. So I didn't do anything with the videos for like 2 or 3 days after I had gotten back. And I reached out to you and Matthew and like 3 other people and said, do you think I should post these videos? And all of you were like, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Post it.
I mean, they should be proud of themselves if they're going to stand up and come in and work as the replacement nurses, scab nurses, then they should have no fear in hiding, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And in Erica's defense, you can video anybody in public. Yeah. There is no law against videoing somebody. You are out and about. You are there. I don't care what police officer, what rule you try to pull out of your butthole. It doesn't exist.
Yep.
If you are in a
hotel lobby
setting,
is considered a public area. Anyone can walk in off the street, ask to use the bathroom. There is absolutely no privacy laws that come into play in a hotel lobby. Now, if I went in their hotel room, that would be different. That would be a crime.
Right.
But in a hotel lobby, there is no crime taking place. Anyone can record anyone.
And you didn't even say anything. You didn't provoke anybody.
No, I didn't talk to any of them. Any of them. The most I did was like chuckle.
She's the one that chose to talk like this.
Yeah.
Did you get your picture?
Yeah. Yeah. So,
but what happened to this video, Erica?
Oh my God. So I had 5 videos. I still have them. I only posted one of them. And I chose the one where she hid behind the pole and then talked to me and saying, did you get a good picture? Just a quick little clip, posted it. Mind you, you cannot see her badge or anything. You can not even, it's from far away. You can't even really see her face clearly. Right. And I posted it. And people lost their ever-loving mind and said that I was putting the scab's life in danger. All of them, that I was putting mind you, I never even said the hotel we were staying at ever. That I was putting all their lives in danger, that I'm doxing them. Like, y'all need to look up what doxing is. That is sharing personal, private information, like your employer, your address, your phone number, your family. Like, I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Okay. And I got huge backlash from that. And you know what? That's fine. Here's the thing. There's a long-standing history of people recording, videoing scabs going in and out of a place of business. Like, this has been happening for decades and generations. You know, you can Google it and find thousands of videos. This is the thing. I'm not the first to do this by any stretch of the imagination. I think they just didn't like that they were being singled out, and they wanted to try to come for me instead of just owning the fact, like, look, if you're going to scab, put on your scab hat, be a proud scab your heart out. But don't come for me when I'm just taking a video of you in a public place saying, oh, scab's going to work. Like, come on.
And what I think is ridiculous is that you were putting her in danger. What does that mean? Somebody's going to look at that video and try to see her face and then go find her at the hospital?
Right.
And I mean, people were grasping at straws here. I mean,
yeah.
But I'm sorry if you decide to be one of these nurses that goes in and goes against everything that nurses are fighting for. You know that you may be heckled walking into work.
That is absolutely part of it.
You know that people are going to boo you. You know that you have to, majority of the time, walk where the strike line is. So this is not new information
not
to them.
All.
That possible. I mean, so I think that was absolutely ridiculous. But there is such a division in nursing. It's like there's two teams, and it's crazy. I'm curious to see how much the numbers really are, but you've got people that are totally against scab nurses, like Erica, like myself. We're going against the common goal here. The whole point is to make the hospital realize and that they need us so that they can change. And then you've got the other people that feel like, and they always use the same example, well, somebody has to take care of the patients. I mean, you're abandoning your patients, which they obviously don't understand how anything works, how they get a warning, how the hospital would never let it get to that situation, how if all of those things, that could be a whole nother podcast. But it starts such a fight between nurses.
Well, and the one that kills me is when they say, you know, this is life-changing money, and it's they try to claim that it's a form of racism because all scabs are minorities. That is not true. That is not even close to true. When someone first accused me of that 3 years ago at Morgan, claiming that, you know, it's just minorities that go on that scab. And so if you're against scabs, you must be a racist because, you know, 2 + 2 clearly equals 7. Okay. And then compared me to Ruby Bridges. Don't even get me started on that ridiculousness.
It's not just minorities.
It's not. So I went on the Bureau of Labor Statistics and literally disproved that. And that day, for example, all the videos, I don't think there was a single minority there. There might have been one. They were all white nurses, male, female. There was like maybe one Hispanic.
Okay,
it's just fundamentally not true. But they like to say that, you know, that it's minorities and it's life-changing money and anyone can go get their bag and like anyway. I just think that it's ridiculously crazy that we ended up at the hotel. Like, what are the chances?
It was fate. Ugh. It was absolutely fate. And I will stand behind you. Didn't do anything wrong by posting that video. You were showing that's part of a strike. I'm sorry that you choose to do that. You choose to cross the line and go in there and work. That comes with the par for the course, whatever the hell that means. Isn't that what people say?
It is. It's par for the course.
You gotta, Hey, if you don't want nobody to recognize you or see you, then maybe you put on a ski mask until you get inside. I don't know. Maybe do something different, but that's just part of it. I mean, it's not like Erica went up and clocked her in the face or something.
No. And in fact, one of the reasons I didn't post one of the videos, the longest video, was the two nurses sitting in front of me, a male and female nurse. You could see their badge. They were right in front of me. They were so close. And so I purposely didn't post that one because, I felt a certain way about that, right? I didn't want to necessarily put their name out there. But yeah, no, the video I posted, did nothing wrong. Don't regret it. Didn't break any laws. Own your scabbiness. Own it. And don't get mad when people call you out on it.
Yeah. Oh, be proud, loud and proud. That's all I got to say. If you're going to do it, then hold your head up high and smile for the camera.
Yeah. If I wanted to go and seek the scabs out or stalk them, I would have been down there at 6 a.m. Okay. Not 2 p.m. Like, absolutely ridiculous. Just a crazy coincidence.
Yep. So that was Erica's controversy, one of many. She always has one every few months.
So many.
You don't know when they're going to come out, but it's usually every few months there's a whole nother drama of Erica has to go through.
Never seems to stop.
Yeah. So let's get into the enema of the week.
Yeah. So the enema word of the week actually kind of coincidentally piggybacks on the problem of the week because I didn't even know what the problem of the week was till you said it.
No, you didn't. I surprised you.
Yeah. So I would like to give the Enema of the Week award collectively to any and all hospitals and employers that have policies that prevent their security guards, their security staff, from physically intervening in any kind of situation. There was recently a really terrible situation in a pediatric ICU where 2 nurses and a resident were stabbed by a visitor, and reportedly security allegedly knew what was going on and would not enter until the police department arrived, which took another 10 minutes. And this is happening in a lot of places where they are putting into place these policies that prevent security from A, carrying a weapon, and B, physically intervening. They're not allowed to physically touch someone. So what is the point? They are absolutely
That's what I was going to say.
useless.
What are they there for?
Yeah, because the hospital is worried about the liability, not about their employees being injured or killed. They're worried about the possibility of liability. And it's evidently disgusting.
Now when you go to apply for a job, a nursing job, you have to start asking these questions. What kind of security measures do we have here? Are they allowed to carry weapons? Are they allowed to intervene?
Do we have metal detectors?
Put that on your list. Yeah, put that on your list of questions to ask because I
agree.
That is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, if you need help, you need help. That's the whole point of having security there. They might as well just continue saving money and just ixnay them altogether.
Right?
I mean, if they're not going to help,
do it. They make the nurse do everything else.
That is absolutely awful. So make sure that you add that to your list of questions, not just, how many PTO hours you accrue per blah, blah, blah. You got to add on there too, metal detectors, security. I'm not even kidding. I'm being totally serious. Like that's just, they deserve an enema. That's awful that they would do that.
Yeah. And it's happening pretty frequently, unfortunately.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to wrap this up and we will see you guys next time on the next Nurses Uncorked.